One of the books banned from the Bible reveals a fallen angel so dark, so powerful, that he's said to be the creator of every demon that's ever plagued mankind. And that's just the beginning, because there aren't just one or two banned books, there are seven. Seven ancient texts that were deliberately removed, each hiding secrets about angels, giants, hidden realms, and divine punishment that shake the foundation of everything we know. These aren't just historical records, they're warnings. In this video, we'll break down all seven of the books that were banned from the Bible and what terrifying truths they hold. But it's that one fallen angel, the one who gave birth to evil itself, that'll haunt you the most. Watch till the end. You'll understand why they never wanted you to read these. The first and most infamous of the banned books is the Book of Enoch. This ancient text was once held in high regard by early Christians, even quoted directly in the New Testament by Jude, but was later rejected by church authorities and hidden from the biblical canon. Why? Because the Book of Enoch reveals details so extreme, so otherworldly, that it completely reframes what most people think about heaven, angels, and the origins of evil. According to this text, a group of 200 powerful angels known as the Watchers descended from heaven and took human women for themselves. These angels broke divine law and taught forbidden knowledge to mankind, things like sorcery, astrology, the art of war, and even how to manipulate nature itself. Their unholy unions with human women gave birth to hybrid giants known as the Nephilim, beings of enormous strength and immense wickedness, who devoured everything in sight, including other humans. But one angel among them stood out, the leader of the rebellion, an entity so dangerous and persuasive that he didn't just defy heaven, he corrupted an entire generation. He's the one the book claims was responsible for the creation of every single demon. Not through brute force, but through knowledge, manipulation, and an unshakable hatred for the divine order. His name was struck from many records, but in the Book of Enoch, he's depicted as a dark architect of chaos. This book doesn't just offer a new lens on fallen angels. It flips the entire spiritual hierarchy on its head. It paints heaven as a place full of internal conflict, angels as beings with free will and destructive ambition, and God as a judge who had to send a global flood to wipe out the bloodline of the giants. The Book of Enoch was banned because it made people question too much. It didn't fit the neat framework of good versus evil. It exposed something far more disturbing. That evil wasn't just something mankind stumbled into. It was gifted to them by heavenly beings who once walked beside God. And that's only the beginning. The Book of Jubilees, often referred to as Little Genesis, is one of the most detailed and controversial ancient texts ever left out of the modern Bible. It offers a rewritten version of Genesis and Exodus, but with a divine calendar system, placing all events in exact 49-year cycles called Jubilees, as if time itself was being meticulously tracked by heavenly forces. According to Jubilees, angels were not distant messengers, but active participants in shaping early human life. They taught Adam and his descendants everything, from writing and agriculture to astronomy and law, suggesting that the origins of civilization were guided by celestial beings. This overlaps with themes in the Book of Enoch, especially the idea that forbidden knowledge was handed down by angels who later fell from grace. But one of the most chilling revelations in Jubilees is the fate of the Nephilim. After their physical destruction in the Great Flood, their spirits did not perish. Instead, they became the evil spirits or demons that continue to plague humanity today. Noah, witnessing the destruction caused by these spirits, cries out to God for help, and God commands the angel Raphael to bind most of them, but allows a small number to remain on earth as a test for mankind, to see who would resist and who would fall. This origin story of demons, rooted in the spirits of the Nephilim, drastically alters how we understand spiritual warfare and the unseen battles influencing human behavior. On top of that, Jubilees claims that laws like the Sabbath weren't just introduced at Mount Sinai, but were actually celebrated in heaven long before humanity ever existed, which directly challenges traditional interpretations of the Bible. It also teaches that the true calendar is solar-based, 364 days, and that the current lunar calendar most religions follow is corrupted and out of sync with God's original timekeeping. The Book of Jubilees was revered by early Jewish sects like the Essenes, who stored copies in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's still considered canon in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But mainstream Christianity rejected it because of its intense focus on angels, its rejection of lunar festivals, and the way it frames demonic activity and divine law in terms that were seen as too mystical, legalistic, or even dangerous. If it had been included in the Bible, our modern understanding of angels, demons, sacred time, and divine law might be drastically different, raising questions that church leaders may have never wanted us to ask. The Book of Jasher is perhaps one of the most mysterious and eye-opening texts ever mentioned in the Bible, yet never included within it. It's referenced directly in Joshua chapter 10 verse 13 and 2 Samuel chapter 1 verse 18, almost as if the reader was expected to be familiar with it, as if its exclusion was never meant to erase its influence. But unlike many apocryphal books, Jasher doesn't just add a few side notes, it radically expands the ancient timeline. It rewrites the early chapters of Genesis with far more detail, describing Cain not as a mere murderer, but as a calculating drifter who built cities and survived through manipulation and cunning. It reveals how Enoch walked with angels who showed him divine secrets long before the flood. And it goes into terrifying depth about the world just before it was destroyed, an age of corruption, giants, and unnatural unions between celestial beings and human women. But what really makes Jasher stand out is its account of Nimrod, a name you've probably heard in passing. According to this book, Nimrod wasn't just a ruler. He was a giant, the grandson of Ham, who came into possession of the actual garments God made for Adam and Eve. These garments, it says, granted him dominion, supernatural strength, and made animals and men submit to his rule. This same Nimrod would go on to build the Tower of Babel, not just as an act of rebellion, but as a weapon to confront God himself. He also hunted men, ruled over civilizations with fear, and threw the prophet Abraham into a massive furnace for defying him. The book claims Abraham walked out completely untouched, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego centuries later. Jasher even speaks of angelic warfare, strange plagues, hybrid armies, and divine interventions we've never seen in any other book. It blends biblical history with mythic proportions, almost like a key to understanding everything the canon leaves out. So why was it removed? Perhaps because it tells us too much about giants, supernatural bloodlines, divine garments, and the war between the righteous and the fallen. Its content aligns too closely with the Book of Enoch, and once you read it, you begin to wonder, what else have we been kept from knowing? The fourth banned book is the Book of the Secrets of Enoch, also known as 2nd Enoch, a mysterious and often overlooked text that expands upon the journey of the biblical patriarch Enoch after he was taken by God. This book dives even deeper into his ascent through the 10 heavens, revealing terrifying layers of the cosmos and realms where angels of punishment, cosmic fire, and heavenly judgment dwell. But what makes this book so controversial isn't just its vivid descriptions of angelic realms, it's what it implies about the origin of souls, the structure of the universe, and the terrifying punishments awaiting sinners. According to this book, Enoch is brought into the presence of God and transformed into a radiant being of light, entrusted with cosmic secrets too dangerous for mankind. He witnesses the storehouses of snow, wind, and lightning, and even records conversations between angels that question God's will. But the most unsettling part? The book claims Enoch was commanded to write 360 books, each filled with forbidden knowledge, the kinds of truths that would unravel the world if revealed. Some scholars believe this text was hidden away because it paints a view of heaven and divine justice that clashes with traditional doctrine. It even includes early references to the coming Messiah and a final judgment, centuries before the New Testament was compiled. The fact that 2 Enoch nearly vanished entirely and was only preserved through obscure Slavic manuscripts is proof of how threatening the early church considered this book to be. It challenges the idea of human ignorance and dares to suggest that man was once closer to God than we've been led to believe. Book 5 is the Apocalypse of Abraham, a mysterious and powerful text that never made it into the Bible, yet offers one of the most chilling visions of the spiritual realm ever recorded. This book follows the story of Abraham not just as the patriarch of faith, but as a man chosen to witness the unseen battles between good and evil. What makes it stand out is how it plunges deep into angelic hierarchies, demonic forces, and even glimpses of the heavenly throne room. At one point, Abraham is taken by the angel Yahovah, a being who speaks with the authority of God, yet is distinct from him, and shown visions of the end times, the fall of idols, and the judgment of nations. He's warned of the corruption of mankind and shown how even the sacred line of Israel will be tempted and fall before being redeemed. But perhaps the most eerie part is when he sees Azazel, the demon blamed for corrupting humanity, cast down and bound among the stars, yet still whispering temptations from the shadows. This book not only ties directly into themes found in the Book of Enoch, but also gives a deeper glimpse into the cosmic war waged in realms we cannot see. It's a text that blends biblical prophecy with divine encounter, and it leaves you wondering why something this intense, this revealing, was left out of the official canon. Book 6 is the Ascension of Isaiah, a forgotten text that unveils a multi-layered vision of heaven, the future, and the shocking fate of one of God's most loyal prophets. Unlike the typical prophetic books, this one combines biography, vision, and apocalyptic revelation all in one. It begins with the betrayal and brutal execution of Isaiah at the hands of King Manasseh, who's said to have been possessed by a demonic force. But what follows is even more intense. Isaiah's spirit is taken through the 7 levels of heaven by a radiant angelic being. As he ascends, he witnesses the awe-inspiring layers of divine reality, each more glorious and terrifying than the last. He sees angels so powerful that even the lower-ranking celestial beings tremble before them. But the climax comes when he is shown the prophecy of the Messiah's descent, not as a grand entrance, but as a quiet, hidden infiltration of earth in human form. It's a raw, spiritual blueprint of Jesus' incarnation, long before the Gospels ever detailed it. What makes this book so controversial, and likely why it was banned, is its vivid portrayal of the cosmic hierarchy, the exposure of demonic influence in earthly kingdoms, and the clear connection it draws between Old Testament prophecy and New Testament fulfillment. It's a spine-chilling text that doesn't just tell you what happens. It drags you through the spiritual realms and forces you to witness the battle for humanity's soul. Book 7 is the Apocalypse of Peter, a text so intense and graphic that early Christian leaders feared it would terrify readers more than inspire them. This book claims to be a first-hand vision of heaven and hell, given to the Apostle Peter by Jesus himself. But unlike Revelation, this account goes deeper into the emotional and physical torment of the damned, detailing punishments for specific sins in a way that feels disturbingly real. Liars are shown hanging by their tongues, blasphemers are burned continuously in dark pits. Those who harm children are devoured by flaming beasts. But what makes this book stand out isn't just the gore, it's the mercy. Halfway through the text, Peter watches as the righteous pray for the damned, and for a moment, even those in hell are shown a glimpse of hope. It's this portrayal of redemption, that the condemned could be saved through intercession, that clashed violently with the strict doctrines of eternal damnation promoted by early church authorities. They feared it would make people take sin lightly. But beyond the fear and fire, this book offers a hauntingly human question. Is God's justice final, or can mercy stretch even into the afterlife? That alone was enough to get it banned from the canon, but for those who've read it, it opens a door to one of the most thought-provoking spiritual ideas ever recorded.